Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us for this webinar going over using Artwork Archive reports to present professionally and streamline your workflow. While we wait for everyone to join, please introduce yourself in the chat, maybe your name, the type of art you make, where you're logging in from. It's always fun to see where people are able to join all over the world. While everyone continues to join, I'm going to cover a bit of housekeeping. So yes, we are recording, and a recording will be sent within 24 hours. In the follow-up email, I'll send some links to things that we talk about, some brief points that we covered, and I'll send the recording. So if we go fast or there's something that you missed, you have to step away, or maybe, you just want me to repeat something, you can go back, watch the recording at your own pace, and feel free to share it, take notes, whatever you need to do. For captioning, you can click the show captions below on your Zoom menu. And then the chat is really great for introductions and technical support. I also have my colleague Paige here who will be answering questions and kind of monitoring the chat. So that is really great if there are any questions that you want to, ask the general audience, or maybe there's something you want advice from other artists on how to use a report or example use cases. It's really great. I love the chat. So feel free to be as active as you want it to be. And then the Q&A is where you can submit questions that you really want to make sure get answered. So those Q&As won't get lost in the chat, as some questions tend to do. So if you really want to make sure it gets answered, send it in the Q&A box, and I'll be able to see it as I stop along the way for answering Q&As. And then, of course, if you want to get in touch with us afterwards, you can always contact our team at team@artworkarchive.com, or we have this little chat icon down in the bottom right corner when you're on artworkarchive.com, and you can always send us a chat there, send us a message. We are really passionate about customer service, and you will always get a human. You will not get a robot. So if there's ever a question that you need an answer to, or you want some, links to helpful video tutorials or articles, feel free to reach out to us there. And brief introduction, my name is Cassidy. I am on the Artwork Archive team. I work on a lot of our product education. I help train new and existing users on how to use the platform. And if you've watched any of our other video tutorials, you've probably heard my voice, so sorry. But I also help with a lot of the help docs and the webinars. And I'm also a painter based in Los Angeles, California, by way of Tennessee. And a brief history, if you do not know anything about Artwork Archive. So we began in 2010 as one of the first cloud-based art inventory systems. Our origin story is our founder, John, who's a software engineer. His mom is an incredible portrait fine artist, and she lost years of really valuable inventory for her art career to a hard drive crash. And when that happened, he thought, there's got to be, some safe cloud-based way specifically for artists where this doesn't happen again. Let me search for one. And he couldn't find one. So he made one himself. And then his mom started using it. And slowly but surely it grew because other artists realized how valuable it was. And, the rest is history. We also provide artists, collectors, organizations, the powerful tools to manage their work, their career, or their art collections. We're really accessible for early stage artists or collectors, and really powerful enough for complex organizations managing large global collections. So we're serving thousands of users in over 165 countries now, which is insane. We're safe, secure, always up to date. So it's not a downloadable system. We went cloud-based for a reason. So anytime we push updates, they're immediately in your account. And then along with that, we're also accessible anywhere on any device. So let's say you're out at a show and a collector wants to inquire about a piece. You can pull up, your Artwork Archive account on your phone, send what you need to send, and get back to art, get back to show, wherever you are. So if you have any questions about that or getting started, please let us know and we'll send you some helpful links. And a brief overview of what we're going to talk about today. So I'm going to go over what are reports. So we say reports, that can mean a lot of things. And so I'm going to define what that means in Artwork Archive, and then why you should use them. These are going to be, tips. You don't have to use every single one. You may not need to use every single one. I was with Artwork Archive for a while as an artist before I joined the team. And as my career progressed, I used more and more. But in the beginning, I really didn't use much besides an inventory report or, a sales report. And then I'm going to give a lot of professional use cases for report types. So I find it really helpful when I learn personal experiences and the way other artists are using these reports, because it then starts jogging my memory of, oh, that's a really great use case. I didn't realize that I could do that. So that's what I'm going to provide. And then I'm also going to show us how to generate reports, go through the process in Artwork Archive, because it's also really helpful to kind of watch someone show you and, just see how you're able to generate from a lot of different places. And then I'm also going to show how to customize report templates so that you do not have to reinvent the wheel every single time. And you can hopefully create a really streamlined workflow for yourself. And then we'll also have the Q&A. But of course, I'm going to ask Paige as well throughout the process. So if there are any questions that come up on specific things that we're talking about in the moment that would be really beneficial to the group to kind of stop and discuss that question, I will. So be sure to send those in the Q&A or in the chat. And if this is, way over your head, or you just want to get a better understanding of an overview of Artwork Archive, we actually host a 101 Getting Started webinar every other Wednesday. So I go over uploading artwork images, understanding the main features in Artwork Archive. So we go through every single feature. It might be way too much information, but it also is really helpful because we cover everything. So if you've attended a 101, please let me know, because I love seeing 101 attendees kind of come to the other webinars. It's really fun. I also help to show you how to set up automatic email reminders with our schedule feature. We talk about the public profile, we talk about private rooms, how to organize your inventory with collections and tags. And then we also cover any questions. So even if you aren't brand new to Artwork Archive and you've been with us for a while and you really haven't played around with a lot of the new updates, or you want to just see what's going on and get your questions answered, it's a smaller group. And so it's really interactive, and it's just a fun place to talk amongst other artists as well. So you can register for that at the webinars page on artworkarchive.com. All right, I think I'm going to get started. So I think we are all here. I'm going to check the chat real fast and the Q&A to make sure. Oh yes, hi Pat, you were at the 101 last week. So good to see you again. And yes, this will be recorded. Yes, so you can see the whole thing when you're not at work. I love it. All right, let's talk about reports. So first off, what are reports? And in Artwork Archive, reports are pre-formatted PDF lists that are generated with a thumbnail of your artwork and custom information. I guess not all of them technically have a thumbnail because the sales and expense reports don't come with them, but here's just kind of an overview of the type of reports you can generate. So inventory list, portfolio pages, catalog pages, exhibition reports, certificates of authenticity, artwork labels, income expense reports, the list goes on. And a lot of people also ask us, why create reports? How is this beneficial for me? Let's say that you've been keeping track of your artwork in an Excel form. I'm actually going to ask everyone, because this is really also helpful for me to know, where do you keep track of kind of your inventory, your sales, your locations? And then when you share with people, are you sharing via email? Are you sharing via mail? Are you sharing via text? Are you sharing via Google Drive? I know for a long time I was keeping my inventory on a lot of different desktop folders, which was not handy when I would go to my laptop, because then I couldn't access the desktop folders or Google Drive, and then I would lose my password. So we've all probably used a lot of different ways of getting or different platforms of getting things to people. So I also feel like I tried to overload so many emails with so many images. Spreadsheet via website. Yes, website for public facing. Amazing internal. Incredible. Yep. FileMaker. Yeah, tracking sales in Shopify. There's so many different ways to do that. So why create reports? So in Artwork Archive, what we really love reports for is they give you an overall organization and peace of mind. So whether you're using an inventory report, you can with one click choose your, or I guess it's a couple clicks, but you would choose the artwork, choose the type of report you make, and then it, puts out a very clean, polished report that you can print out, you can send immediately, and then you can get back to making art. It also really helps manage present and past inventory. So if you're keeping track of your entire inventory and you are keeping track of the dates and all of the really important information, you can filter by year, by type, medium, all sorts of ways to really understand different series or different collections of your work, and also look at your career over time. So what I love about keeping all of my work in a platform like Artwork Archive is I can see pieces over time in the history of my career. So I can see through lines. I can see, oh yes, maybe it informs price, where I have been selling work at this price for this long. I think I can up my prices for this, percentage because I have validated that they have sold for this long at this price. So that's just something to keep in mind. It really helps you stand out in a crowd and present yourself and your work professionally to clients. So I have personal experience with this, where I worked at a gallery for a number of years. And when we had an artist who would, come with their artwork and their information all ready together, pricing, everything that we needed to know, it really left a good impression on us. And it really helped us want to continue working with that artist because they did the work for us. And on their end, it really wasn't that much work at all because, like I said, they just clicked a few buttons. I have a really great quote from an artist that I recently heard where she said, if you want to work with galleries, there's no better tool for sharing your work with them. Your work will be presented in a professional manner and easily accessed. Another point is it provides critical information for insurance purposes. So we actually have a collector version of our Artwork Archive accounts because our other co-founder, Justin, lost a lot of valuable info when his house flooded, and the artwork, he didn't have it stored or didn't have, the incredible important information that you need for insurance purposes. And so he, said, I need to help create a platform where collectors can also create reports that are really important for their own financial stability. It saves you time on paperwork and administrative tasks and gives you back time in the studio. Yes. It allows you to quickly retrieve information to share so you can make more sales. So how many of us have also had a client reach out asking about our available work? We get a little overwhelmed. Maybe I'm just speaking from personal experience, but we get a little overwhelmed and we don't have a quick, easy way to access that information. And instead of, getting it, sending it right on, making that sale, we wait days, we don't reply to the email, or it's, kind of jumbled information and the sale falls flat. I love also this quote from another artist talking about certificates of authenticity. So Michelle says, my clients love receiving their certificates of authenticity. It makes them feel special. A recent client told me that I'm the only artist that they ever receive them from, which is really shocking to me because if you're making original work, you really should be sending certificates of authenticity because it's really important for provenance. Using AA makes me look good. Yeah, Pat, same. It also shows me the gaps in my history and record systems. Yes, Duke, I agree as well. So a lot of these reports are what is helpful too. So let me backtrack for a second. In Artwork Archive, there are a lot of fields, and some people get a little overwhelmed when they see all the fields that you can enter. You may not need to enter all the fields for your pieces, but it's really helpful to see what you could enter. So I like to think of the exhibition history and the exhibition reports. You may be keeping track on your CV of exhibitions you're a part of, but you're not keeping track of which pieces were a part of that exhibition. And that's really important for collectors when it comes to them purchasing a piece. They want to know the full story of a piece. So I'm going to go through some examples of all of the reports you can generate, and then afterwards I'll show you how to generate them. So first we have the inventory report. This is kind of our most popular general use case report. It's a list of your pieces with all the detailed information that you want to include. And with all of our reports in Artwork Archive, you can customize them as much as you want. So you can choose to just include the size, just include the price. You can include location. And I'll show you what the back end of that looks like so you can see how customizable they really are. So example use cases for inventory reports are, like I said, they're a great general report for various needs. You can send to a gallery or client for available inventory. You can visualize your entire career if you want to print the entire inventory that you have uploaded already. You can also filter by collections or tags or certain series or pieces and get a better understanding of all of those pieces as well. You can print and use to cross-reference what's in your studio versus what's in your online inventory. And then you can use for insurance purposes. And of course, there are so many other use cases. So if you're using one of these reports in a way that I don't mention, please let us know, because we love learning all the different ways artists are using reports, and there are a lot of ways. Tear sheets. So tear sheets are a more condensed version of an inventory report. They have smaller thumbnails on each page and just the essential information for each artwork. So as you can see, you can add a lot more pieces versus the inventory report where it's bigger thumbnails and you can include more information. So this is really great if you're just wanting to print your inventory or print a report and use fewer pages. They can be used for inventorying purposes with high level information. You can also use these, I recommend too, as a price list. So they can be short, simple price lists with just a quick thumbnail, quick pertinent information for exhibitions. Or maybe you're hosting an open studio and you just want to print this really quickly. So when people come in and you don't have a chance to talk with them, they can just quickly look at a reference for pricing information. Inventory report works great as a handout document for a gallery show. Yes, exactly, James Allen. The inventory report is kind of the one-stop shop. So if you need to use a report for anything, you can guarantee the inventory report might save the day. Portfolio pages. So portfolio pages showcase one artwork per page along with the description and key information about the work. So these are really great to present work in a professional manner to really showcase that one piece. And you can send these as a portfolio to a gallery, a curator, or an interested buyer. So let's say you want to send a piece as a proposal, or maybe it's to a collector and they want to know if this piece is available. You can create a portfolio page and it'll look really great because you can also add your logo or contact information at the bottom. And you don't have to have a degree in design or really know how to design things really well, because it'll automatically present in a really professional way for you. You can also prepare this as a catalog for an exhibition. So maybe you print it, put it in a folder, or laminate it and have people flip through. You can submit it as a portfolio also for exhibitions for grants or residency applications as well. So let's say that you need to send pieces to an open call and you want to showcase your work, and they're not just asking for uploading the images, but they want to see more about the piece. You can send these as well. You can also attach to your email newsletters. So I've seen a lot of people, if they have an upcoming show and they want to share it with their newsletter subscribers, they'll attach a portfolio or a catalog page, and you can make these with multiple images as well. So you can attach your catalog pages to the newsletter. They can open it up, flip through, and it's just a great way to make people feel special and also present your work well. Similar to portfolio pages are catalog pages. So catalog pages include a large-scale primary image of your artwork, along with an optional secondary page with thumbnails and expanded provenance information. I need to take a deep breath because I'm getting really excited. So these are really great light portfolio pages to showcase your pieces. They are great for sending to interested collectors of work because you can include additional images like installation shots, or you can include provenance records. So maybe it's the publication history to show that this piece was written about in this magazine, or this piece showed at this exhibition. You can provide to museums for future exhibitions or purchases, because they will want to know this information about pieces that are going to be showing at their locations. And then again, you can use these for submissions to competitions, or we have a great use case that you are going to hear about in a second, where you can send as a follow-up report for grants. So a quote that an artist, Alessandro, New York-based printmaker and artist, he's also on our team, but he had a great use case for being able to generate a catalog page. So being able to generate a catalog page with the click of a button is so useful. As a requirement of a grant I received in 2020 to produce a new body of work, I had to send a follow-up report of my new work, as materials and studio time were what I spent most of the grant money on. They absolutely loved it because it was so professionally organized and clean looking. The director reached out personally to say how incredible the report was, and I do believe that it was part work, part report. So you just, like I said earlier, for those of us who have worked on the other side, receiving artists and going through show after show, years after year, year after year, to have a professional looking report like this already made and already in our hands just sets you leagues above others. Certificates of authenticity. So a document that serves as an official guarantee provided by the artist or an authorized representative verifying the origin and legitimacy of an artwork. If you are making original artwork, you really should be sending certificates of authenticity with that piece, because it's really important for collectors to be able to verify that that was an original made by you. It's great for their insurance purposes. It's also great for provenance. You can use Artwork Archive to generate certificates of authenticity. You can also use it as a template and generate your own, but just make sure that you're signing, dating, and including the key information about a piece. You're able to generate certificates of authenticity right from within a piece record in Artwork Archive. And then I just recommend attaching it to a piece when it's sold, or you can put it in a separate folder and send along if you're shipping it to a collector. It really also helps increase the value of your work because it's creating that provenance. And artwork labels. So you are able to create printable wall labels for your pieces in your inventory, available in various sizes, including small, medium, and large. And you also have options for further customization. So I have 3 different sizes here. I have the small labels where I've included the thumbnail, but you can also just have labels without the thumbnail. Here's the medium where it's 4 to a page. And all of these also match up with Avery templates. So if you want to print them formatted to Avery stickers, you can. You can also have the option to include a logo. On the large ones, you can include a description, and you can include your website or contact information. So these are really fun, and you're able to really customize these to what you need and what you want. You can print and adhere them to walls for exhibition tags, which is, the most common use case. Or you can also, this was a tip that I heard from another artist that I thought was absolutely brilliant. You can attach to the back of your work for easy internal inventory reference. So imagine sending these also along with pieces that are going in a show. You attach these to the back of the pieces so that the gallery or the exhibitor already has that information with them. If they don't have a standard for labels and maybe you have to provide the labels, you can also go ahead and create these and send these along with them as well. So they're already made. I mean, it would just be amazing and time saving for everyone. You can also use these as a price list during exhibitions. So, maybe you don't need to divvy these up and make them as labels. You can just create maybe the small labels and they have the thumbnail similar to a tear sheet, but you kind of have the ability to add more pieces per page, and you can use them as a price list. And along with artwork labels, we also have QR code labels. So these are when you go to create QR code labels, it'll say artwork/QR labels. But I just wanted to separate them because these have a little bit more information it's a bit trickier to understand at first, but then I wanted to kind of break it down so you could see separate from the artwork labels. So these are like the labels, printable QR labels for pieces in your inventory. They're also available in small, medium, and large. And there are 3 different types of QR codes that you can be generating with your pieces. So I'm going to show you in a second the 3 different types. but example use cases are use for your own inventory reference, print as wall tags, adhere to the back of art, either for your studio or when you're shipping. And then you can also use them as linking to your public profile or another website for more information about a piece. So let me show you what I mean by that. So there are 3 options when you're creating QR code labels. So we have option 1, internal links. Option 2, public page links. And then option 3, custom links. So be sure that you're choosing the correct QR code links that are what you want the QR code to direct people to, because sometimes, if you choose the wrong one, when people scan the code, it's not directing them to what you think it's directing them to. So let me explain a little bit more. So with QR code labels, the option 1, internal links. So if I choose internal links, when I scan this code, it will link directly to the artwork's private internal piece record inside your artwork archive account. So this is really only accessible for you or anyone being able to log into your artwork archive account to see more about the piece. So if you scan this, I use this a lot of the time for pieces in my studio or in my home or internal inventory. And I just want to be able to, if someone comes by for a studio visit and says, I love that piece, how much is that one? Or tell me more about it. And I'm just having an off day and cannot access that information in my head immediately because I've offloaded it. I can scan the code. It'll bring up my internal page on my artwork archive account. And I can have all of the information, the price, where it is, which is obviously in my studio, but maybe where it's been, history, everything, all at my fingertips. So that's just handy to know. We also have a lot of people who, with our collector accounts, manage family estates. So, if you have pieces that you want to create these labels for to be able to scan and then go and look in that internal piece page, maybe you or family members all have the same access to the same account. That's just great for all of you to be able to access at one time. Just make sure you have the login to your artwork archive account. Option 2. So these are the public page links. So if you choose public page links, option 2 of the QR code labels, and someone scans this QR code, it will take them to the pieces page on your artwork archive public profile. So if you don't know, you can create a public profile in Artwork Archive where you can we didn't intend for people to use it as a website because we love the idea of people being able to fully customize their art website. But if you wanted to have pieces, the description available on your public profile, and you want people to easily access the description and more information, you can have them scan the public page link and it'll take them to this piece record. And then you have the option, to show as little or more information as you want. And people are able to kind of learn more about the piece. So this is really great if you're using it for shows or you're using it, maybe you're showcasing work and there's not someone to talk about the work there, talk about the artist. You're able to kind of post these QR code labels, people can scan them. And then if you have an about page or you have, news or you have anything on your public profile, maybe you've linked out to your other artist website, they can access all of that information with one scan. The third option is the custom link. So this is a really great kind of catch-all. If you have a website or maybe you have a YouTube channel or you have a news article or something that you want guests, when they scan this QR code, you want to direct them to an outside link outside of Artwork Archive, use the custom link. So whatever website you put into this custom link URL page or this place is when they scan these QR codes, it'll take them to that website. So I love recommending this if you have your own artist website, or maybe it's the gallery's website, or maybe it's, even a major press event or press release or something around the exhibition. The custom links are the solution for that. So hopefully that made sense, because there are 3 different QR code labels. And sometimes we have artists come in and say, oh no, someone scanned this QR code and it took them to sign up for an Artwork Archive account. And we're like, that is the internal link. So that's what that will look like when someone scans and they don't have access to your account. They needed to change it to the public page link. Next up are the consignment reports. So consignment reports allow you to generate a polished checklist of works for a specific location. So in Artwork Archive, you can create location records for anywhere your artwork is outside of your own inventory. This can be storage units, this can be additional studios, this can be galleries, this can be exhibition places that you're showing work, because we also have exhibition records. But this helps formalize an agreement between you and the exhibitor or a gallery. It helps you stipulate, terms or conditions of sales. Also helps you maybe add in the note of how art should be cared for. You can have all of the dates as well of when the piece is going to be at this location. And you have all of the contact information, your contact information provided, their contact information provided, and then you have the option to formalize it with a signature. I like to send consignment reports along with pieces when I'm showing them at a particular location, and they will sign, received by, they'll send me a photo of it, and then it'll come back with me more often than not. But this is a really great report to kind of keep track of where your work is at all times. Similar to that, we have exhibitions reports. So exhibition reports are attached to when you're creating exhibition records inside Artwork Archive. So these are temporary exhibitions of your pieces. Maybe they're competitions or, whatever you're using the exhibition features for to keep up with all the important dates like submission deadlines, application deadlines, drop-off deadlines, pickup. You have the ability to keep track of all that information in an exhibition record. And then you can generate exhibition reports to have that polished list of all the works that are in the exhibition. Either they were accepted, or maybe they were just submitted, or maybe it's the ones that were not accepted. You can filter to apply all of these different reports from within that exhibition record. They help you track what work you sent to whom, where, and when. And then you can also record the status of that submitted work. Like I mentioned earlier, you can include all of the awards or acceptance rates to really get a better understanding and feel for your own, maybe you're, submitting to a lot of open calls and you want to just keep track of what work you've been submitting, or maybe you work with studio assistants and you have the group of work ready to be shipped off, but it's not for another couple of weeks and you want to make sure not to miss those important deadlines. You can print this exhibition report off. It has the address or whatever contact information you need for that exhibition. Maybe it's attached to a location, so you have where it needs to be shipped. And then you can set that with all of those pieces so you will not forget. Address labels or contact reports. So if you have created contact records within Artwork Archive, so this is, what I recommend is keeping track of anyone related to your art business. So it can be the framer, it can be galleries, it can be curators, it can be collectors, it can be even just, press people or anyone that you have an interaction with in your artwork career or in your art career. You want to keep track of them in your contacts. You can create contact groups. And then from all of those contacts, you're able to generate a contact report. So maybe you want to generate the report and see whose information needs to be updated, whose information you're missing. You can print this off too. You can print labels off, just like you can print artwork labels, and use these for thank you notes. Maybe it's also where you need to ship your work, or you can ship if anyone's still doing the physical exhibition announcements. You can keep track of who's bought what piece in their contact record, and you can know where your exhibiting contacts are located when you're visiting them. And this is another huge lifesaver for me personally. Let me know if you have also used this, but sales and expense reports. So you're able to generate and keep track of general expenses as well as costs associated with individual artwork. So you can get a better understanding of pricing and profit. You can really understand, how much you're spending in these different categories, and they should line up with the categories for taxes. So you're able to look at write-offs, look at, maybe you're not aware of how much your supplies have been costing and your prices need to go up. Or I love keeping track of the general expenses in different pieces because maybe I think I've priced a piece really well, or maybe, I sold it and I'm so excited. But then I look at how much the piece actually cost me and I didn't make as much as I thought I did. And I need to reevaluate how I'm spending for my supplies. So this also, like I said, prices work accurately. And then it really saves you time during tax season by having your expenses all in one place. So you're able to not only export these as an Excel or CSV. So maybe you don't need the PDF, but you're using a different accounting software, which we are able to keep track of all of those, but we are not trying to be QuickBooks or any other accounting software because they do different things well. We do art inventory really well, and we do specific art expenses really well. So you can export those to Excel if you need to upload those into a different system or send them to your accountant. You can also, download these, send them to your accountant, and they will be so happy. This has taken, I feel like it saved me days of my life. If I calculate how many days this has saved me by printing these reports, you can do them by year, you can do them by category, you can do them by you can filter by as much as you want. So if you haven't already, look at sales and expense reports. So I'm also going to show you on the back end, but I just want you to kind of be able to see you can generate reports from a lot of different pages. So from the main pieces page, you can click new report. Wherever you see new report at the top of the page in Artwork Archive is where you can generate the reports. So you can do it from within a piece record, from within a location record, from within an exhibition record, within a contact record, and from the main income page. So if you are clicking new report and you don't see a report that I mentioned here, it might just be on a different page. So from pieces, you can't generate a certificate of authenticity from the general pieces page. You'll have to go into a piece record. And then for those income reports, you will want to go to the main income page, contact reports from the contact page, but then I'll also show you from the main reports page where you can access all of them as well. And then here's how to share reports. So whenever you generate a report, you're able to immediately view it, and it'll just take you into the a new page and show you, what the PDF will look like. It'll also give you the ability to download the PDF to your device and print out, or you can attach it on your own to an email or a message, just as you would attach any other PDF. You can also copy the URL. So you're copying the digital link to this PDF. So you can just, a lot of the time what I do is if I'm sending an email and I want to hyperlink, here is more information about a piece, I'll copy the URL of the report and then, right click, attach, hyperlink that so that they can view it digitally. And then also you can share via email through Artwork Archive. So I'll show you what that looks like here, because fun tip, if you send directly from your Artwork Archive account, it'll send them like it's sending an email, and you can also send yourself a copy of that email. But if you send it from your Artwork Archive account to a contact record that you've created in the system, it will be recorded inside that contact record. So like I mentioned, contacts are really important for artist careers because a lot of the time, or a favorite thing that one of our colleagues always says is your future clients are your past clients. So keeping those relationships going is really important. And half the time when I send information about a piece, if I don't have a trail, it's really hard for me to remember, oh, did I send that price list? Or, oh, did I send that portfolio piece or that portfolio page? If you send it within Artwork Archive, you can go to their contact record and you can see all of the days in which you shared what report. And then you can view that to see, oh, was that accurate information? Click and see what you sent previously. And if you haven't look inside a contact record, you can keep track of everything. You can also attach reports if you want to download the PDFs and attach them separately. Maybe it's a consignment agreement that you both signed and you want to then upload the signed agreement and attach it to, a location record, contact record, exhibition record. you can do that as well. Okay, I'm gonna check for questions real fast because I have just been blazing through. So hopefully that information was helpful, but I want to show the back end of how to create a report as well, because I know all these examples are really great, but it's really helpful to also see, okay, how do you make these? So I'm going to share a different screen. How are we doing? Is everyone still with me? How's the temperature where you are? Feels like a good thing to ask sometimes because the temperature is wild everywhere. Alive and awake. That's all we can ask for. Thanks, Pat. That's great. Okay. Smiling. I love it. Air conditioned. Wow. You guys are living well. So let's get back to business, people. When you log into Artwork Archive, so this is the main pieces page. It's where all your pieces are in the system. To generate reports, you can generate with new report up here. So here is where I can also at any point export my entire inventory to Excel or CSV. None of your data is trapped. We do not own it. It is your data. It is your information. So you always have the option to export your data at any time. And you also maybe want to export it and save it to another drive or somewhere else, or you just want to have the Excel version of all of your information as well. You can do that at any point. But I'm going to click, oh, I clicked into contacts, but I'm going to click into reports to show you how to see all the reports that you're generating and also how to generate them yourself. So every report that I make, wherever I'm making it throughout Artwork Archive, will show up in this main reports page. And I can go up here and click new report. So maybe I want to generate an inventory report. I will come down here and click inventory report. And then here's what I wanted to show you. So there are so many different ways to customize these reports. You can include even today's date, thumbnails. Maybe you don't want to include thumbnails. You can choose what size display options you want. If you want inches and centimeters, do you want to group them by the collections you've made of your artwork? Maybe by their locations. You can also include contact information. So if you're sharing this with people and you want them to be able to contact you, you can include all of that. You have the option for a profile image and logo. You can also order how pieces show up on your reports. And one that people aren't fully aware of, but I want to make sure to highlight, is the custom order. So once I select my pieces, it'll take me to the custom order on the next page, and I'll show you what that looks like. You can have report headers. So if you want to have a header image, this image is actually a logo and contact information. So maybe you want to further customize and have that image show up instead of this contact information, you can. And then the way that you have a report header image show up here is you upload it on my profile. I'll just click into this real fast. And this is where that profile image, the logo, and the report header shows up. I'm going to go back to reports. I'm going to click new report and go back to creating an inventory report. And I'm going to reset custom order so I can show you what that looks like. Another thing, so when you upload images into Artwork Archive, we recommend uploading your high resolution images because you'll always have access to those images in the future, whether a piece sells, whether it is lost or damaged. Having that high resolution image is really important. And also for us, when I was working at a gallery, we really needed those high resolution images for the press release and to send for printing in magazines. And when I say high resolution image, 300 DPI. In Artwork Archive, you can upload images up to 30 megabits, and we accept most file types, but I recommend, a JPEG or a PNG. And then you also, once you upload your high resolution images, if you share them at all via public profile or private room, they are automatically downsized and for the web. So if you upload your high resolution image to Artwork Archive, it's not being just blasted out there. It is protected. It is private. Everything is by default private in Artwork Archive. But if you wanted to share that high resolution image or link to it, it would be known as the primary image original file, and you can include URLs to that high resolution image. So you're not having to upload them into like a Dropbox folder or Google Drive folder, or however whatever ways in which we artists have been really creative in finding different platforms to hold all of these images. You can just have it all in one place here, and you can include the link so it's not clogging up any drives. But that's just kind of a trick that not a lot of people know about. I am also going to show you, so you can include notes on the report. So maybe there's, a particular exhibition you're having or information you want to include, or maybe it's just whatever notes you want to be added to the report, you can add to notes. And then we call this the piece picker because it's where you pick your pieces. I can come down here, I can choose one by one, and I will add them over. Or let's say someone reaches out and says, I want to see all of your available work. I can click filter, I can go to status, click available, and then I've created a couple different prints, but I can add all 21 available pieces, click next. And then I also have these pieces that I made additions for. This is where, when I chose customize order or custom order, this is the page it'll take you to after you pick your pieces. So let's say I actually want this piece to show up first. I can either click move to position 1, and it'll move to the top. Or let's say, up next, I want this piece to show up. I can click the dots to the right and drag it up to the position that I want. Go, 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 go. And I can move it to number 2. So if you are particular about how your pieces show up, you have that option here. I can click generate report. And then, like I mentioned, all of the reports will be generated here. It may take a little moment depending on how many pieces you have. If you have hundreds of pieces that you're generating, it may take a few moments, but it generates really quickly. And then I have the option to immediately view, download, copy the URL, or share it immediately within Artwork Archive. And let me show you what view means. So this is where I can preview it. This is the inventory report I just created. But let's say I want to have all of the information over and over and over again, and I don't want to have to recreate the wheel. And I just, I already know all the information I want to include on an inventory report or portfolio page when someone reaches out. I'm going to make a template for it. So up here is where all of your templates will be saved. But in order to make a template, let me go back to inventory report. I have all of this information. I want them to look the same all the time. This is also really great if you have an intern or an assistant that is making these for you and you want to make sure it looks the same every single time. I want to include the description. I want creation year, yada, yada, yada. I am adding a couple pieces, and then I want all of that to be saved. You can save it as a template, and I can say, main inventory report, and then I will generate the report. And that will be saved in, I've done that a couple times. I guess I'm repetitive or predictable, but it'll save right here in your templates so that when I click main inventory report, all of those settings will automatically be chosen. So that's a way to save time in the future for yourself. And then I also want to show real fast. So when I go back to my reports page, let's say you look at this report and you're like, oh man, I forgot to include my logo. You would want to go over here and click edit, this little pencil icon, and then you can include your logo, and then you'll regenerate that report. And because these are generating PDFs, it will generate a new report. So it's not going to just edit that same one because it already generated a PDF. It will generate a brand new report that then you can view again. And all of them will continue to populate here. You can also filter your reports. So let's say you want to see the address labels that you made recently. There they are. You can also, this is actually a recent ad, you can search your reports. So let's say I want to see the catalog page. I can click catalog. Here are all my catalog pages. Can separate artwork archives be set up? For example, commissioned work, exhibitions, available work. So that's actually a great, lead into just a general understanding of how to organize on Artwork Archive. So you can upload pieces one by one here, or you can bulk upload up to 20 at a time. And then you're able to, let me show you within a piece. So you are able to categorize, organize in so many different ways. Types of work, status. So statuses in Artwork Archive, you're able to, this is all of the artwork over your career. So every piece that I've ever made ideally would be in my Artwork Archive account, but I lost track of a lot of pieces because I only started a couple years ago. Or a couple years ago tracking my work, but all the pieces prior to that, I have, some images somewhere, and I've uploaded them just to remember that they existed, but maybe they're lost, or maybe, there's a piece that's archived, but you're able to upload and keep track of any amount or any type of work. Maybe it was already donated, work that's already sold. You're really just trying to keep track of your career and organize your entire inventory of every kind of piece that you've made. Because one piece of advice that a mentor gave me when he was starting to get into way more museum shows, I said, is there anything that you can offer an emerging artist? Let me know. And he said, know where your artwork is, know who it's sold to, keep track of that information as early as you can, because if you want to do museum shows, they're going to want that information. So that was just a helpful piece of advice. And I think that is it. So it's been a minute since I've done a bulk upload. Am I remembering correctly that the images are uploaded, but I still need to enter all the information? Yes. So Karen, if you are uploading up to 20 images at a time, you'll add your images here. And then you'll have to put in, the high level information and all of that on your own. But if you wanted to do a larger import, you could do that via an Excel sheet. You reach out to us for the import service, and you could import that information automatically. So that was a lot of information. We're almost out of time. I wanted to let you know that we have this learning center here with help docs. So let's say you saw a report here and you're like, man, I want more information about that. You could come over to our help docs and look down here. We have all of these step-by-step instructions on how to generate each report. We've worked really hard on this. So hopefully if you don't see a help doc, let us know, but hopefully there's a help doc for whatever you need. We also have video tutorials. We have more webinars as well. And we have guides. So maybe you want to learn how to get started to catalog your work. We have an artist guide to cataloging, to archiving your art. Let me know. Hopefully this was helpful. I'm going to share a new screen with all of these links as we finish out. If you don't have an Artwork Archive account as well, you can also get started with a free trial. So you can get 14 days for free, no credit card required. Reach out, or you can go to artworkarchive.com, choose whatever account you want to try out. That's the best way to get to know the platform. And then if you need more time, just let me know and we can extend that a little bit as well. Sign up for our newsletter for more tips. And let me know if there's something or an aha that you had, something that you weren't, aware of before, but you're excited to use. Thank you all so much for showing up today. Please go and continue making incredible art. What you're doing matters. And reach out if you have any questions. Follow us on Instagram as well. Thank you. Have a really great day, everyone.